I've done a lot of thinking about this rivalry that we have, and I think the whole thing is silly. Truth is, I can't think of a damn thing you can do better than me.
Well, why don't you ask your wife about that, Jack?
Let's roll.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I get a whooping?
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Jerry, Justin, and Al.
Yes, guys, we're back, we're live, we're groovy, and we are in the nudie bar. This is a big two-parter we're doing tonight. But first, let me introduce the guy who woke up surrounded by little potatoes and a pineapple ring on his back, Jerry. What's up, man?
I always get nervous around supper time.
Yeah, why do you always run to the neighbor's house and go under the bed?
Maybe because you basically tried to make me the main course at your luau.
Hey, listen.
This isn't Donner's Pass.
What am I supposed to do, go hunting through spider webs?
That's what most people do.
Yeah, well, guess what this guy does who's joining us tonight? He drives a nail through a table with his own forehead. Justin, what's up, man?
I do have a hard-ass skull.
Now, what if somebody went to punch you in the breadbasket and they instead made contact with your forehead?
It would break their hand.
How tall are you? And as promised, we want to give a shout-out to a new patron of our show, Andrew. Thanks a lot, bro, for joining Patreon.com, supporting the show, and getting all the new Extra Married with Children podcast content. We drop new stuff every month. So tonight we are reviewing Married with Queen, Part 1 and 2. This is Season 3, Episodes 17 and 18. The air date for the first one, which is probably not accurate, was April 23rd, 1989. Peggy and Al attend the Polk High School Reunion, where Peggy is determined to win the title of Reunion Queen. This is a pretty big episode. It's a two-parter, lots of guest stars. This was directed by Jerry Cohen. The writers were Ellen Fogel and Michael Moy. So this is a two-parter. It's what, the third one? What was the first one?
Poppy's by the tree.
Poppy's by a tree, ring down Zorro's pants, and then this one?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Girls just want to have fun.
Yep. This one starts off hardcore again. They seem to have this great trend where they open the show lately with starving jokes. And what they'll cook, what they'll eat, whatever. Kelly and Bud are sitting at the table holding a fork and knife, and they're looking at each other, and you can hear their thoughts.
If we don't get some food soon, it's Donner Pass, baby.
He's a little stringy, but seasoned correctly. Bud chops.
Now that's sort of like a parody to... You ever see those old Warner Brothers cartoons where the big fat guy and the tall skinny guy are stuck on a deserted island, and at some point they're on a raft in the middle of the ocean, and they look at each other and they see each other as a hamburger and a hot dog?
Yeah, because I grew up with a lot of those Warner Brother things.
Yep.
So we've been talking to the other kids at school, and they get 3 meals a day. Now, I know what you said, that food only leads to food poisoning, but we're willing to risk it.
Like, what a great line. Peggy, in her terrible way of trying to comfort the kids to stop asking for food, says, now listen, kids, food only leads to food poisoning.
No, I agree. That line was really good. Like, the whole beginning is pretty good. It's just that whole, like, it's a little too outrageous. Like, here, eat this price tag.
Well, you see,
like
that I thought was like, this is getting crazy. But they do bring it back down to earth, because eventually the kids just kind of throw it down the table and goes, no, but seriously, Mom, what are we going to eat? Like, as if they were going along with the joke, and they did not really take it seriously. And nobody thought it was serious. Because for a second, we all thought it was serious, you know?
So if you're really hungry, why don't you eat this price tag? And eat it fast before your dad gets home.
Hey, how come you always get the plastic thread?
I'm just doing it for you, Kelly. You know plastic goes right to your thighs. Come on, Mom. We're hungry. Isn't there anything to eat in this house?
I actually thought it was funny when it was them looking across the table and the bud chops and the Donner Pass reference. But then when Peggy's like, "Oh no, go dig something out of the freezer. I had Burger King on the way home." I was just like, the whole reminder that Peggy is actually a terrible person in general is just, this whole episode is about Peggy being a terrible person.
Well, real quick, I didn't get the Donner Pass reference. What did that mean? I rewinded it 3 times. I couldn't.
It was 1840.
It was during the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Right?
Bunch of California-bound settlers
got snowed in.
Yeah, got snowed in, and of like
during
80,
during their
like
trip.
half survived. Like they ate the other half.
Yeah.
Resort to cannibalism.
They ate a lot. Like there's a lot of movies and TV and documentaries on it, but it's like one of the more infamous cases of cannibalism.
Now he said by something o'clock, Donner Pass. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they call that, to this day, I think they call that area the Donner Pass or something like that, because that's where they were hung up at.
Well, no, Donner Pass, yeah, because Donner Pass is the mountain pass. Donner Pass is the name.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't the name of the family, and then they named the pass.
It was settled, like it was like 80 people.
And 40 of them were eaten, and at the other 40, they went on to survive and had to tell everybody what they did?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Did they get arrested? Did they all go to jail?
No, it was the 1840s.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, rules are a little different, but also, like, if you kill people and eat them, I think it's bad, but, if in a survival situation, like the rugby team that crashed in wherever the hell they were, the Alps or something like that, and they all ate each other, like, nothing happened to them either.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where you didn't like kill someone to eat them just because you've always wanted to know what a butt tastes like. You did this to actually survive a horrible incident. Like, say a school bus driven by a blonde 15-year-old crashed into the Jiggly Room and there were explosions and we were stuck here, and for some reason, like the Simpsons movie, a dome formed over us, and say you two got together and were like, let's beat up Jerry and eat him.
Right.
You most likely would not get any legal trouble for that.
I was right, Jerry. It is the Reed and Donner families that.
Oh, was it? Because I think if you Google it, it comes up. Oh, the pass was later named after the group. Okay, yeah, you're right.
32 members of the Reed and Donner families. Apparently, there wasn't anybody that was, just from my brief reading, I don't think they actually killed people to eat them. They just ate the people that died.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, if you wait for them to die, then that's what I mean. So what's the crime? That I didn't let you bury them? You could bury their bones.
Cannibalism is a crime, I believe. I don't know. Is it a crime? Is cannibalism a crime? Like, did that guy who got that other guy to, like, if I just would kill myself and be like, or cut off a piece of my hand and was like, here, eat this, is it illegal for you to eat?
Well, it depends. That case in Germany where the guy, like, on camera was like, yes, I'm giving you permission to eat me, they deemed it illegal. And in the United States, there are no laws against cannibalism per se, but most, if not all, states have enacted laws that indirectly make it impossible to legally obtain and consume the body matter. So in the United States, there's no federal law for it, but almost every state has a thing that says no matter what, you're not allowed to eat humans.
You're not allowed to serve yourself?
Yeah, you can't cut off your finger and let someone eat it.
What if I ate it myself?
Well, you're not allowed to kill yourself, so I assume you're not
I'm just
going
to cut off like a hand.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're not allowed to legally kill yourself, I don't think you're allowed to legally eat yourself either. Like, you're not actually allowed to have freedom of your own body. The state can press charges against you, claiming that you are like
that you're eating you.
Yeah, that only a crazy person would eat themselves. It can't be you just have like your curiosity is just a little bit further than Sir Isaac Newton, and you had to just see what a little piece of your thigh tasted like. They're gonna be like, nope, you're crazy. You are literally Marcy going into her rants. You're done.
So that Warner Brothers, the Looney Tunes guy who we were talking about earlier, who put salt and pepper on his foot on the plate and was going to eat it, he would have gone to jail for that.
Yes.
Wow. Well, it's funny that you talk about Peg being a bad mother, and they're showing this in different ways, and the price tag being one of them, because they almost show us that they sort of shed light on the point I was making a couple times where I said the kids don't exactly look like they walked out of a concentration camp. So
Daddy and I are going to our high school reunion, and I really want to wow them.
Well, if you really want to wow him, why don't you just tell him that your daughter weighs 47 pounds?
Boy, Mommy just wants to have a little fun, and all you kids can think about are your empty little stomachs. Now go forage in the freezer and let Mommy be happy.
Now, we know she's not. She's probably like 105 or whatever. So that proves right there that that's not what's really taking place there. So between that, the way they eventually react to the tag, it's sort of like everyone's in on the joke. But yeah, Peg can't look worse by buying a $500 dress. I mean, do we really got to pull out that calculator again? Like $500 for a dress. If my wife bought that today, there would be a very serious talk. That is a major purchase. And yeah, it's like they're trying to make Peggy look like the lowest form of life. Now, supposedly this is the episode that you learn Peg's last name, but I could have... Now, this is according... Once again, I feel like we're like repeating... We have tropes in our own show, and one of them is IMDb being wrong, because the last...
Yeah, because didn't we find out about this in the All in the Family episode?
Right. And here on IMDb, somebody wrote, in this episode, we learn Peggy's maiden name is Wanker. This episode also was shown in the UK, where the term wanker is an obscenity. Of course, that means someone who masturbates. So, once again, it's almost like we just gotta... I don't know who these people are anymore who are entering this stuff in.
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes for All in the Family to see if I ever wrote down the word wanker.
I feel like the Wanker triplets was said. I mean, I could be wrong here, but...
Yeah, no, they say in Wanker County, but I guess that doesn't necessarily...
Well, that's a stretch. I will go ahead maybe and watch it so we could talk about it on the season wrap-up show. Just to verify. So, Justin, I have 3 questions for you.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good.
How's it going?
Good.
How they hanging?
Good.
How come you're able to answer these questions? But Al can't answer them.
Nice dress. What's the occasion? Oprah having a formal episode?
No, she has no time for that. She's too busy preparing to run for president in 2020.
Al, don't you remember anything?
Not since I said I do. Then your mother opened her mouth and put me down.
That was a show of affection. That's how she used to carry all of us around. But let's forget about the past. Tomorrow night, we're going to our high school reunion, and I want us to look nice. So get your suit out of the hamper and iron it.
Hey, I don't want to go to my high school reunion. I just know they're going to ask me questions that I can't answer, like, how you doing? How's it going? You ever painful? How they hanging?
Yeah, that's his biggest fear of going to the reunion. I love that.
Here, Alex, I thought about this today. Okay, on multiple episodes, I have clearly asked, did Al and Peggy go to the same high school?
Well, it looks like they did.
It looks like they did. Here's my question. How come everyone can tell us the definition of suey in the group, but they couldn't answer that question? Did you, message everyone and was like, don't tell Jerry?
Wait, let's just not say that and let him find out. Suey, he'll never find out if we don't tell him.
Yeah, because I'm like, this was a pretty big episode. I feel like...
Yeah, I feel like it would be common knowledge if you're a fan.
Yeah, if you're, a fan at the level of, Alex and Chris and Annabelle... that one of y'all should have pulled me to the side and lectured me or something, and no one did, and I'm just like...
I feel like I might have cited this.
I remember you saying something there's a future episode that will resolve this.
Right.
But I think you said that the first time, but then every other time I brought it up, you've just, ignored it.
I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I responded the way I did.
They didn't even go to their high school senior prom because... he was watching football at her dad's house and telling her to shut up the game's on. At that point in the relationship, someone should have said, you know what, maybe not.
Well, as much as we love them, or at least Al at this point, because Peg's getting on our nerves, hopefully she kind of wins us over again down the road, because I don't know, she, in the last 5 or 6 episodes, has been doing nothing but getting on our bad side. So I hope something changes very soon. But, we love Al, but we have to admit, he doesn't have much.
It goes back to what me and JP talked about that one time, when we talked about how we think Al is secretly into being miserable. It gives him rights to complain.
Well, he said that. He admitted that on the show. He said if Peg works, then I can't complain.
Well, I know, but when we had that big conversation, you were against our whole idea that he was really into being treated like crap.
Okay, there are people in the world who are not doing very well, right?
Yeah.
They complain all the time. They think that they deserve this, they should be here, they should be doing this, but they don't do anything to make that happen. Now, that's not a deep psychological thing. It's just they think they're motivated, but they're really not. They think they want these things, but clearly they don't want them bad enough because they'd rather just go home and relax. They don't want to succeed as much as they want to sleep. They don't want to succeed as much as they want to be cool and hang out with their friends, just do whatever. They kind of want it, but they don't really do anything to make it happen. And that's sort of what Al is, and I think he's sort of submitted himself life stinks. I did this or that. Now I lost this. I can't be this. I'll never touch a beautiful woman. I'll never be a football star like I thought I would. Like he said to the librarian. He just kind of figures it's over now. He's 40.
So you don't think that he likes it. You think that as soon as he found out she was pregnant, he just gave up all hope for the rest of his life. Well, he was just done, and he was like, oh, well, no need to better anything.
This happens in real life all the time. I have a friend who got married, and he's sort of not that happy in his marriage. He's not thrilled about his whole situation. He has kids, and he has the wife and everything in a house. But he said to me, so I said, well, I don't know, he must have said something that alluded to the idea that he made a mistake or something. So I said, well, why did you marry her then? And he goes, well, what am I going to do? I was already with her for 5-6 years. Am I going to break up with her and start over again? I just married her. So I was like, oh... yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. It's just human nature. What are you going to do? It takes too much effort to even start over. People don't even want to do that. So I think that's all Al is. I don't really think he has this weird, fetish of being abused or anything. I really just think he's submitted to it. He said life sat on his head. And that's just the way. He said, well, I guess there's my life now. And that's it.
I don't know. Their whole, when you start looking into their relationship, it just makes no sense.
Well, I think they should freeze Al until they find a cure for what's wrong with him.
Yeah, they should, but unfortunately, there's no cure for Peggy spending all your money.
Hey, Cal, I think I got something here. It could be edible. Let's see. It's Freddy, my goldfish? It's the one we froze till they found a cure for whatever was killing him.
Bud, you were only 5 then, so we didn't tell you, but, What was killing him was that we didn't feed him.
Oh, Freddie. Dibs on the head.
I get the head.
He was my pet.
Yeah, well, I was the one who didn't feed him. Oops. Well, let's just fry him up and we'll say, next time I get a pet, you can let him starve to death.
Deal. Kill, I can't. I mean, I just can't eat Freddie. He lived in my room.
So does fungus. Where do you draw the line?
At a fish, I was proud to call my friend. Hey, let's go outside and throw him in the front of a car. Maybe we can get some insurance money.
Oh, cool.
I'm glad they're gone. They were depressing me, Al.
Who wants to eat the head of a fish? Yeah,
I mean, there are people that do that.
I mean, but that just doesn't even sound like that's not where I would be like, of course you can have the head. That means I get the body. The body. There's more meat on the body. Does the eyeballs give like an extra flavor or something?
They do, actually.
They're spicy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you guys probably hate it when Bud says, I'll throw the fish in front of a car. Okay, let's get to the logistics of this. Who would notice that a 1-inch goldfish was in front of their car on any level?
Well, no, I think he meant throw it at the window of the car, hoping that would make them like.
I
crap.
still wouldn't stop. If something like that hit my windshield, I'd just keep driving.
Oh no, you're right though, because they bring up the uninsured driver thing, so they literally mean to have them run over someone's fish.
Right.
Wow. Oh, wow, I didn't even realize that joke was that bad.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty bad.
Crap.
Yeah, and to make it worse, let's just say that it was just his immaturity, a 15-year-old kid talking dumb. He has a sister that's even dumber than him, so they both go along with this. Okay, but the idea that it actually worked, the only problem, though, is that the guy didn't have insurance? Are you serious? Are we still going on with this joke? That's like something better left forgotten, but...
Well, no, there is one good part of this joke, and that's Kelly getting in the back seat for $50.
Ah... That's she's pulling down some good coin there, man. $50.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. I'm not complaining.
Did you guys notice that she sort of had a weird response? Like when he said something about throwing the fish in front, she smiles and then goes, like it seemed like 3 seconds too late, goes, "Oh, cool."
I just thought she was dumb.
Well, I think she was actually waiting for the audience to stop laughing.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and it was a timing misstep. Like, that's bad timing, comedic timing.
Hey, let's go outside and throw him in the front of a car. Maybe we can get some insurance money.
Oh, cool.
But you'd have to look at her to really pick up on it, though. Peg's nemesis in high school is Connie Bender.
Which was not her original name in the script.
Really?
Yeah, let me find this. It's actually really funny. In the original first draft of the script seen here, there are some notable differences in the dialogue scenes, such as Connie was originally named Nancy, and the quote was going to be, "Nancy Bender, suck the chrome off a fender."
Do you think she was hot?
No. Wasn't there a different like rival that Peg had in
she did
Alley
in
the Dolls?
Yeah, she had a completely different rival. I guess she had two rivals.
Peg doesn't get along with anybody.
No.
Mimi Stokes, Connie Bender.
Yeah, so Connie Bender is played by Lisa Raggio, and I have to tell y'all the funniest thing I found out. This actress has played Chicken Nugget number 2 4 times for McDonald's.
Whoa.
What?
She has been the voice actress of Nugget number 2 specifically 4 times.
How come she couldn't land the number 1 spot by the 3rd time?
I don't know. She also did voices for G.I. Joe. She mostly was a voice actress, so there are no nude scenes for her.
Thank God.
I just wanted to share that with you.
That's some good news.
Well...
What's the bad news?
Oh, that comes later.
Well, she's a redhead, so much like with Pippi Longstocking in The Harder They Fall, Peg has another rival with another redhead. So, now the kids come back, like we said, with the car gag, and now they're going to check the cobwebs for spiders, and Kelly's totally down with this. Now, Justin, at this point, is this too creepy to enjoy their bonding, or are you still happy that you're getting that?
Yeah, I always like when the kids are hanging out and have their own subplot. I mean, I think they're kind of hammering the
starving thing
a little much at this point. And I was actually thinking about that on this episode, where I was like, oh wow, when we get to the wrap-up show, like one of the overarching themes that they just freaking shoved down our throat was that everybody was hungry all the time.
But I'm gonna say this: so far they have not missed. I think every single starving joke has been awesome this year. Like, really, has there been one that we don't laugh at? Except, like, I wouldn't say throwing the fish in front of a car is part of it. So,
there's some of it that really works, and there's some of it that doesn't. I don't think I don't like the parts where it's too extreme, like finding a frozen goldfish.
You don't? I thought that was great.
I don't like it, but then there's certain parts, like I like them, the bud chops. I like those jokes. I like when it's just them talking about it, not when they bring it into reality and it's
like when they find some
when they're trying to
under the stove or something.
Yeah,
or a box top trail mix.
Yes, I don't.
Wow, I love that.
I prefer it was funnier when they did the jokes of Al making them campfire burgers that Al had to cook and he had to make out of random stuff they have at the pantry. But now it's at the point where they're there is nothing in the pantry, there is nothing in the freezer, there is nothing in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
It just because that all just makes Peggy look bad, and it works off that backbone. And I don't like the trade-off.
Because you want to love Peg.
Not that I want to love Peg because, people run away from her on sex night. But I want to at least like her.
Well, don't forget, Al rules this house. What he says goes.
Oh, that is such a beautiful dress. I just saw it on Michigan Avenue. But my husband didn't think we could afford it. See, Steve? Al doesn't mind spending $500 on his wife.
Is that what I spent on you, Pookie? Gee, I guess I really do love you. We're broke, you know that, Peg.
Oh, Al, what difference does it make? Another month in debtor's prison? I'm going to be reunion queen.
That's so exciting. But if you're going to be queen, you can't just go in a $500 dress. You have to accessorize properly. We could get you a beautiful beaded evening purse if you'd be willing to bounce a check for another $200.
Would you mind, honey?
So, Al, what are you up for? The coveted cartwheeling to the grave award?
Okay, everybody, let me put this as plainly as I can. I rule this house. I pay for it. I rot within its walls. And I make the decisions. And my decision is save that dress for my funeral. Because we're not, no chance, no way, no how, going to that reunion.
And you're going to have to buy some shoes. Oh, Peggy Queen, I'm so happy for you.
So, what will you be wearing, Al? The royal leash?
So, that was great comedic timing from Marcy. She waited the exact right amount of seconds after Al was done putting his foot down to say, and you're going to need some shoes with that dress, too. That was just great timing. Perfect. She, like we said, I think she might be the best actress on this show. And the only one that rivals her is probably Al.
Whoa. Steve? The guy is literally trained to do he can tap dance.
I don't know. We'll have to really I'm not an expert at acting. I couldn't really evaluate people that way, but I don't know. I do think Ed O'Neill is pretty genius.
I do think but here's the thing. Ed O'Neill and Amanda Burst have some of the best comedic timing possible.
Right.
But like as an actor wise, I think Steve is like, not even as a fanboy of Steve, but as acting, Steve gets to go through way more emotions.
Dude, Buck is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the way he got up and looked behind him and then went off the couch. Oh my God.
He has some of the best visual cues ever.
Honestly, like it is such like a well-rounded group of people, but I honestly think that I like Steve. I think Steve kind of kills it a lot.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I can't argue with any of them. Yeah.
It's just because here the thing with Ed O'Neill is he is perfect at playing Al Bundy because his comedic timing is so good.
Right.
But we don't always get to see him go through like regular standard emotions. It's always like very exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As where in the show you get to see Steve go through like very actual standard emotions.
Yeah, he's more grounded.
Yeah, it's more wide. So I don't know, but nonetheless, he would make a good Barney Rubble.
That was kind of funny because it like kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit. It's acknowledging that like almost like that Steve is his sidekick to the audience. You know what I mean? Like,
but Al has a worse job than Fred, which Fred's job, if anybody doesn't know, he worked at like a rock quarry. I don't know what he did.
Wasn't he like
he was a heavy equipment operator?
Yeah.
Okay. Which means that they have like they made these little things that you sit on the back of a dinosaur. Like Fred was sitting in one of those on a dinosaur, and then he would like crank like a fishing line, and it would lift the dinosaur's head up and down. And he did whatever he wanted him to do. I don't know, but that was his job. So,
can you think that someone's job while writing the Flintstones was just how can I make a dinosaur be a washing machine? Like their job was to just make dinosaurs do things that machines do.
Yeah. Well, one of the best ones was it was the Christmas episode, and Fred talks into or his boss, Mr. Slate, talks into like an intercom or whatever that's just in his office, and then he says something into it, and since there's no wires to have speakers and sounds that go to other rooms, the bird heard him, jumped up and flew out of a hole in the wall into where the receptionist lady is, landed in her intercom and said what he said. Like that was like the funniest thing, like making these.
I remember that one. Yeah. I haven't watched the Flintstones in so long.
Yeah.
This is a good show though.
Mm-hmm. So the reunion, high school reunion, is the big thing. That's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah, see, that's what reunions are for, to laugh and point at the pitiful. You know, Al, the wretches, the failures, the people who haven't accomplished a damn thing since high school. I'm sorry, Al.
You know, Barney Rubble wasn't much. But at least he was supportive, Steve.
Marcy, let's go home, punch up some of our old classmates' credit ratings on the computer, and make love by the flickering ashes of their lives.
Steve, we'll make a bet of our negotiable securities and do the wild thing.
Acknowledging the fact that these people have virtually done nothing since high school. Oh. Sorry, Jerry.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I will go home tonight and punch up your credit ratings, and then I will make love on the flickering ashes of your life.
Hey! Jesus, what are you, sadistic?
Well, it passes the time.
That sounds kind of hot, though. I'm going to do that.
The modern day equivalent of that is just to go on like someone's Facebook now.
Yeah.
And say, wow, that's who you married? Ugh. Steve sort of flubs a line. Did you notice that when he was like going through that whole thing? Like, I gotta check the rate, check this, check that. Like he starts to say one thing and then he stops and says something else.
You know, Al, the wretches, the failures, the people who haven't accomplished a damn thing since high school.
It's not as bad as what Al did in the episode My Mom, the Mom, when he was talking about Bud throwing a snowball through Steve's window. I think that was the episode. Al
yeah.
flubs a line there, and I forgot to point that out. He goes to say something, then he forgot his line. He changed it to something else midway through, and then they continue on. So we'll play that on the Season 3 wrap-up show, too. We got to write all this stuff down to make sure we get to it. Al eventually agrees to go to this high school reunion. He didn't want to.
Whoa. We're not skipping how Peggy gets him to do it, because I want to compare this to the last episode and what Steve and Marcy did.
Okay.
Putting Little Whittle Hunky Bear, Yummy Wummy Hairy Tummy, Simple Wimple Pimple Bottom, and Donkey Wonky.
Oh.
Those were said live in front of an audience.
Yes.
And people were okay with it. We just gave Steve and Marcy the biggest crap for their lovey-dovey things. Peggy talks to Al like he is a retarded kindergarten dog. And you're just going to skip over that?
And Peg promising she'll never ask for another thing.
Okay, well, that's just her lying. But still, like...
No, it's repulsive, all of it.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? This blows Steve and Marcy out of the water.
Yeah, if I didn't have to do the show, I was about to hit the fast forward button halfway through Winky Pinky.
I had to play it back like 4 times so I could get everything written down.
Well, then just for you, I won't play the clip over you instead, because you made all that effort. I was going to do that, but hell, if you went through the effort, I'll leave you in there.
Don't make the audience hear it.
Yeah, I won't make you guys suffer through it again.
But now that you insist on going, there are going to be a few rules. First, I don't want you talking to any of your old friends.
Thank you for going, but you can't talk to any of your old friends. Now, logistically, what would Al have done when he got there? Just stood there, everybody would say hi, he would just turn the other way and talk to people he doesn't know?
Particularly that little weasel Eli.
Yeah, Eli was a good guy, Peg.
Huh. Good guys don't say, hey, Bundy, I got 20 riding on you. Lower your head and run into a brick wall.
No one had ever done that before.
You know, I like to think if you hadn't, you might actually have been a garbage man. Rule number 2, I don't want you getting into any fights, particularly with Jack.
Yeah, and not only that, rule number 2 is he can't fight, especially with Jack, but Peggy's going to shut down her rival, but Al can't do that to his rival. That's messed up.
Well, he thought he was a man for a minute.
Only for a minute.
Yep. Yeah, Al's nemesis is Jack. Anybody get a last name? For some reason, I don't know.
Didn't, because they only refer to the wife's former last name, Connie, and they never refer to her actual new last name, which is weird because they call Peggy her old last name and new name.
Even in her insult.
Yeah, the guy who plays Jack is named Jack, and his last name is Yates.
He seems familiar. He sort of looks like...
Yeah, I have only seen him in one movie, and it was like a super minor part in a movie that barely anyone's ever seen called Freaked, which is about like a weird sideshow circus thing where there's like a guy who's like half cow. It's a really, really weird movie.
Wow, I'm glad this episode catapulted his career.
Yeah, well, the thing is okay, we're going to go through a lot of people in this episode, but I'm just going to go ahead and give y'all the heads up. Most of them have done either barely anything or just a whole lot of TV. Like 1 episode specials. That's it. We don't have, like, there's only one person in this whole thing who, like, amounted to, like, something. Everyone else is just, their career was just one.
They were lucky enough to be here. That's what you meant, right?
Yeah, that's the nice way of putting it.
Jack. Yeah, I remember Jack. I don't like Jack. He had this thing about being the best. Always trying to top me. I'd make the team, he'd make the team. I set a record, he set a record. He passed the gallstone, I married you. You could never settle that tie. Jack and me split the school right down the middle. Half for him, half for me. Then graduation day, we were going to fight it out in the schoolyard. Me and him, till one of us dropped. Well, then something happened.
Yeah, I think that something was Eli betting you couldn't jump over a Mustang going 50.
I was 2 inches short of that, Peg. If my toe had just cleared that driver's nose, I'd have won that $10 bet. And my fight with Jack. And played college ball and married a debutante. Been rich and famous. But everything worked out just fine. I got no complaints. Oh, God.
Do you think you could jump over a Mustang going 50 miles an hour?
Yeah, over.
Yeah, I do.
You think you could do that?
Probably.
No way.
I've seen people do it.
Just because you've seen people do it doesn't mean you could do it.
I mean, are you asking would I try it? Absolutely not. Do I think that I could do it? Yeah, probably. I mean, how tall is that?
I had a Mustang. It was up to my, I'd say, at the bottom of my neck. Yeah.
Okay, I maybe couldn't do that. I would have to. That's pretty high jumping, right?
Yeah.
That's like 5 foot or something.
To be fair, he got bet $50 to do it in the 1960s. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I miss when Justin used to pull that calculator out.
In the 1950s, you said?
60s.
So, like, what year are we saying about?
Hold on. I actually have something in my research.
Yeah, don't we know the year of the reunion?
No, not exactly.
It doesn't say 10 year or 20 year or whatever?
Well, here's the thing. The thing says Al and Peggy were born in 1948, which makes no sense because Al is older than Peggy, I thought.
Yeah, he's like 10 years older almost.
Apparently not, because in the show they were both seniors at the same time.
Right, which
is... But that doesn't mean that you're not older.
Well, she said he graduated at 30.
Well, okay, so they graduated in 1966. So it was $50 in 1966. I mean, 1966. 66.
1966 would be about $400. About, it was like $387.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Al got bet $50 to jump over a car, and now his daughter gets paid $50 to get jumped in the backseat of a car.
Oh.
I don't know. Did y'all notice that connection? I thought it was funny.
No.
Both involving cars, both betting, both $50.
I just couldn't believe that the price dropped for Al. He gets 50 to jump over a car, but only 10 in 1989 to drive a nail through a table with his head.
Well, yeah, but you know, $10 is like, I don't know.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe Eli gave him $20 to run his head into a brick wall. That's like a $5 thing, not $20.
Yeah. Now, we get to what would you say this took place in? What kind of setting?
What, the reunion? Most of them take place in like a gym, but this one looks like it's in like a hotel.
Right, because they look out the window at some point. It didn't seem like No, it couldn't have been a gym. It had nice walls. It looked like a hall of some kind.
Yeah, it looked like when we go to conventions, it looks like it's in one of those hotels.
Yeah. How lucky would we be if we had our high school reunion and the Y came to play?
Dude, okay.
Now, before we get into their music or anything, let's drop some knowledge with this. Now, the Y, they were uncredited since they were not an actual band and had no lines. But they were all musicians. And the Y's lead singer and guitar player was Morgan Cavett. The other guitar player is Danny Timms, who was holding the go-go dancer, Andrea Parker. The bass player was Peter Marshall. Unfortunately, the drummer's name is unknown, but the put-together band was also hired to play at the cast party at the end of Season 3, which was held in Studio City Lane's bowling alley on Ventura Boulevard in L.A. The lead singer, Morgan Cavett, has a following story. He said, "It was fun doing the show. Everyone was really friendly. When we showed up for the second day to tape the show, the assistant director met us at the door and said that director Jerry Cohen wanted to talk to us. He said, I'm not really a singer, so I thought we were going to be fired because of my singing. The director told me I was sounding too good and I could not sing so well. With a big sigh of relief and a chuckle, I told the director it would be easy for me to back off a little. I just started screaming the lyrics and everything was fine." So that was knowledge that we got from Bundyology.com about the Y, which obviously was the high school reunion band on this episode.
This song killed me, and I had to go see if it was a real song, and it is. It's called Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All-Stars.
Wow.
And the other song they do is real also.
Okay, and where are they? Because we have to play one, or DJ has to play one of us. We can take a freaking break at some point.
The song they do in part 2 is What Becomes of the Brokenhearted by Jimmy Ruffin.
That I recognized.
Yeah, and then the song they play during Al and Peggy's slow dance is This Guy's in Love with You by Herb Alpert.
Huh.
So they played all legit songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see, but the band's not real.
Well, the joke, obviously, is they're making a joke. There's a band, as you all know, called The Who. So, you know, the famous who, what, where, when, why. So it's funny to say the why. Like, why are you guys a band? Why are you here?
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Dude, I was dying when the go-go dancer was like, "Can I take a break now, Daddy?"
You see a look on her face? Like she hated her dad.
Oh,
that look on
you
her
hate
face.
your dad? If he made you be a go-go dancer for 40-year-olds?
Wait, Justin, is that what your dad made you do? Is that why you were the hot tamale, or was that voluntarily?
That was college. What do the girls say? College. Working my way through college.
Is that what you did? Wow, how'd that work out? Good?
No.
You still have loans?
I never went to college.
He was trying to get the money first.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to save up $300,000, then I'll register. There's 3 things that I want you guys, we're going to do a convention. We're going to sign autographs because we're big stars now. We've been doing this for over a year. Now, Jerry, when they ask you what you do for a living, now what are you going to tell them?
That I am a garbage man.
Okay. Justin, how many times a year do we have sex? I mean...
A year?
I mean a week.
5.
Good. And, Jerry, how many kids do we all have?
0.
Okay,
which is
good.
actually true.
Perfect. So now that's how we answer these questions that these fans are going to ask us.
Yeah. Now, Alex, are you still with that good-looking sex machine?
Who, Todd Fleming?
Yeah.
No, didn't work out.
Ugh.
I thought I could do better, but I couldn't.
Well, that's okay. Oh, Justin, you don't look a day over 1,000.
There's a comeback that I'm supposed to know.
No.
No, I don't think there was a comeback to that one.
Yeah, Edna said to Al, wow, you look just like you did in high school. What a shame. Or something like that, right?
Yeah, so
You don't jab Al. He'll destroy you every time.
Yeah.
And women are more susceptible to insults look-wise than men. Men don't really care what they look like.
Hey.
Yeah, that is true. Women are definitely more susceptible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, except I've seen pictures of Alex. He definitely cares more than me and JP do.
Have you seen me lately?
No, I stopped coming. It's too cold to be outside your window anymore. Now, okay, serious question. Out of the 3 of us, who do you think would win Prom King? I don't. We should make a poll. Yeah, let's do a poll in the group and see which one of us would make Prom King of the Married with Children podcast. I think they're all gonna see their inner Steve and vote for me.
I think they're gonna see the hybrid of Al and Bud and just have this undeniable gravitational pull towards me. I see that happening.
And then I see them going, Buck's my favorite, and voting for Justin.
No, they're going to say, I see a lot of Jefferson in Justin. I think I'm going to look to the future.
Whoa. Do not bring that name here. It is not time.
You're going to hear that name about 160 times, 8 times. Yeah, you're going to hear that name a lot in your life.
I don't want to hear that name. I think I'd rather have the $2,000 phone bill.
Dude, that's insane. $2,000 phone bill?
Yeah, here's the thing. It was supposed to be bigger in the original script, along with Al constantly thinking about not clearing that 2 inches on the thing. They were going to have a phone company representative personally delivering the $2,000 phone bill to Peggy
It would be like $4,100 in today's money.
Wow.
Oh, God.
And they're worried about $200 in accessories?
Dude, that's insane. I mean, I think even back then people were probably like rolling their eyes at that.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
a little
stupid.
it's a little too much. Like we all know Al can't afford that. Also, phone bills. Those used to be a bigger thing, huh? Like where you called.
We had this conversation on the show before.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I said 2 shows ago. So go ahead, say it again.
We just talked about like Justin brought up like having to like get permission to call like his cousin or something.
Oh yeah, during the the bell tolls.
Yeah, just talking in general about how long distance used to be a thing, how all of this used to actually matter, and now it's like, who cares?
Yeah, like I remember you used to have to buy like a card or something to call.
Did that.
To call like Florida or like call my aunt. It was like a big deal if your aunt called from Florida, because it would be like they only had like 2 minutes or something.
Calling cards, they were called. You believe that?
But like now that doesn't do anything, does it? Like I could just pick up my cell phone and call Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida's good.
The only thing that still slightly matters are roaming rates.
Right.
But you're really rarely going to get those anymore anyway. So in this episode, Peg brings up the fact that she's like, you're going to come here to this and we're going to be proud of each other. But as soon as they get there, she immediately starts putting him down.
Yeah, she calls him a bozo and says, get lost.
Yeah, like, I'm like, how, like, Peggy is the most hypocritical character on television ever. She makes Homer Simpson look, well, I guess Homer does all of his on, like, you see, like, Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson, like, a lot of the stuff they do, like, is shown as selfish or hypocritical, but a lot of times it's played at the cost of stupidity.
Yeah,
and
they're
Peg's,
dumb.
Yeah, and Peg's not, like, she's not super smart, but they don't really show her as, like, Kelly dumb.
They showed her dumb a couple times, but none of the vindictive or none of these types of moves that she does are out of stupidity. They're just clearly that she could care less about anyone but herself. It's just selfishness, no consideration for anyone,
Exactly.
no fear of repercussions at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how is this okay? How is Al not in jail for murder? Like, it's just insane what he puts up with.
It is. But he sometimes gets his little jabs back, like when Connie comes over, you know, he makes the joke, you look better standing up in front of Peggy. He made a joke earlier in the episode about Connie's dad having really nice coats.
Yeah, I didn't get that joke. What did that mean? Like, he uses...
Because when he was talking about them being over at her dad's house during prom night, they made love on her dad's coat. Him and Peggy made love on Peggy's dad's coat, so him insinuating that he also hooked up with Connie on her dad's coats.
Well, he confirms that in an amazing comeback jab in the second half of this story arc.
Oh my God, that's so good. Now, but how cliche did you think it was that both their rivals ended up marrying each other?
Yeah, that's a stretch, man. I was like, okay. I was like Bink Winkleman, okay.
I was sitting there thinking about that, but then I lost it because there's like the greatest visual greatest visual thing ever right here. Jab. No, it's not a jab. Oh. It's a really good visual joke as Al walks away with Jack. Did either one of y'all catch that?
Oh, yeah. Al had an iron burn on the back of his sports jacket.
Yes. That was great.
Dude, that's amazing.
At first I thought it was like a stain, and I was like, what the hell, do you like fall in poop or something? And then I was like, oh, it's the shape of an iron.
Yeah, well, he pulled it out of the hamper and ironed it. Hey guys, want to represent the Married with Children podcast? Go to tpublic.com, TEEPUBLIC.com. Just go to the search bar and type in Married with Children podcast. They have everything you need to rep your favorite podcast: tank tops, long sleeve shirts, baseball t-shirts, crew necks, hoodies. They even have these in kids sizes, phone cases for all different styles and sizes. laptop kits, stickers, wall art, notebooks, mugs, pillows, tote bags, travel mugs, you name it. They got it all, guys. And for great prices, go to tpublic.com for all your Married with Children podcast representational needs. Yeah, so Connie Bender, that's the new Mimi Stokes. I'm sure Peg still hates Mimi, but... And she lost to Mimi, so let's see if she'll lose to Connie.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to order a drink. Peggy? Peggy? Wanker? Don't bother to thank her.
Connie Bender, bring a friend, it won't offend her. Hi.
Like we said, or IMDb feels, Peg's name was finally revealed. Peggy Wanker. Don't bother to thank her. So like we said about the $2,000 phone bill, Peg called all of this, this is what I don't understand. Called the whole senior class, paid $2,000, basically telling them all to vote for her. Meanwhile, if I was the girls she was calling, I'd be like, well, I wanted to win it. What do you mean? Why would I vote for you? Like, how does it come down? Was like the president's thing? It just comes down to two people?
Well, that's, like, did they send out, like, ballots? Like, in the thing, they sent out, like, when they send you the information for the thing, where they, like, heads up, these are the 4 people you can vote for? Or was there a thing before that where they all got to vote who should be it, and the top 4 people then get to run the thing? How does that, I don't know how that works. I'm with you.
This whole episode can be completely farcical. I don't know if you actually, since when do you become a queen for a high school reunion? Does that happen? Am I out of the loop here? Isn't that only prom king and queen? Like, do you still do this for high school reunions?
No.
I think this whole episode doesn't make any sense, right?
I've never been to a high school reunion, nor will I ever go to a high school reunion, so I have no clue.
Right. I don't think this is even real.
Then I think I've seen, like, other shows do, like, high school reunions where they do have, like, I don't know. Maybe they just picked 4 people that they thought were popular. Maybe, isn't there a committee, like that sets up reunions?
But who would do that? Because all those people have already left. They have jobs. They have normal lives. Why would they still be a committee for their high school?
Well, no. They, like, I'm sure someone goes to the school, says we're going to have our high school reunion. I guess alumni is still kind of important, but, like, I don't think high school alumni matters anymore.
But these people this is a 20-year reunion, dude.
According to the math, it's completely wrong. This is like a 23rd year high school reunion.
Technically, yeah, because 89, it should be 66,
yeah.
86, right. But that's why I just said 20, because it only goes by tens, I believe, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if this whole episode is farcical or not. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. I could care less. But it's just funny, the whole idea of this.
Al, you are looking fantastic, Al. Do you remember me, Al?
Yeah. Wow, what happened? No, I mean, you look better standing up.
He was always such a charmer. So, what are you doing these days, Al?
He's a garbage man. And what about you, Connie? Are you married or still working your way west?
Oh, I'm married. Honey! You remember Jack, don't you?
Peggy! Jack! You're, looking good. You too, Jack.
You want to go outside?
You bet.
Now, boys. This is a reunion. No need to pick up exactly where we left off. If we did that, Connie would be in the coat room with the band.
Peggy, did you hear the good news? I'm going to be reunion queen. Care to be my hag in waiting?
Oh, no. You're wrong. Much as you're wrong in thinking that women don't need deodorant. You see, I'm going to be reunion queen. Check your numbers, baby. I am ahead by a cool 3 votes. I should know. I called everywhere in the English-speaking world.
That was your mistake. Well, that and that dress. Oh, Sumo! You see, Peggy, I think you forgot our foreign exchange students. You remember the Yo Hero sisters? I flew them in from Tokyo. By the way, Sumo, who will you be voting for?
She who holds a passport.
Tough luck, wanker.
Now, look here, Bender. I didn't spend $500 on this dress, $2,000 in phone calls, and $300 for these shoes to go home with this. I swear, by the hairs on your chinny chin, I will be queen of this reunion.
Not when you're one vote short, baby.
$2,000 phone calls, $500 dress, and a $300 pair of shoes for $2,800. So I guess she never got that $200 purse.
Oh, well, that's nice of her.
Yep, $2,800. Like, Al doesn't make $2,800 in 4 months.
That's $5,703.33.
Oh, the 33 cents just kills me. Because that's Al Bundy's number in football, 33. This is just...
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now, the cliffhanger... So, guys, we're wrapping up. That was the first half of Married to the Queen. The cliffhanger is that Peggy knows she's one vote short. What to do? So, guys, we'll be right back for the second half of Married to the Queen. And we will find out if Peg finally beats Mimi Stokes. Connie Bender. We'll be right back.
Last week on Married with Children, Peggy was excited about going to their high school reunion because she was sure she would be named Reunion Queen. Al was excited too. Meanwhile, the kids are starving. Peggy's competition for the crown is her old high school rival, Connie Bender. Al meets his rival, Jack, who wants to pick up the fight they never had in high school. At the reunion, Peggy learns Connie has bought enough votes to win the crown, and it looks like Peggy's not going to be queen. The kids are still starving. And now, Married with Children continues.
This is Season 3, Episode 18. It aired April 30th. Just double check when that last one aired. April 23rd. Okay, so a week later. I guess the next Sunday, or whenever this was, it aired. So, Jerry, we are being bombarded with a lot of extras in these two episodes, mainly during the reunion. So, can you just you told us about Connie Bender and Jack. Now, clearly, Eli, the guy who bets Al to run into a wall head first, this guy is pretty famous.
Yeah, David L. Lander. He's arguably the most well-known person outside the main cast on this episode, and you should know him as Squiggy. Like
what?
Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley. He even when he was in a Scary Movie, he was Principal Squiggy.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
If you, Justin, look him up while we're talking, and you'll know.
Well, just say you've seen Scary Movie. He's the principal in Scary Movie.
Okay, what's his name?
David L. Lander.
You'll know him.
He's definitely the most well-known. Everyone should know who he is, depending on how old you are. If you're super old, like Alex, you'll know him from Laverne and Shirley. If you're
Happy Days,
you'll know him from...
I watched both of those shows, but not closely.
I was obsessed with Happy Days for a while when I was a kid, like 12 years old. For some reason, Fonzie had a really big effect on me.
I can tell.
That's how I became this cool, actually.
Oh, Alex, you know how you said, where's the bad news? Are you ready for it?
Oh, God.
All right. Vicky. Boy, was she hot.
Vicky is the hot girl that lived in New Mexico that was smitten by Al.
Also, that is a white chick. I 100% thought she was like some kind of Latina. And when I looked it up, nope, her name is Catherine Carlin. And she has been nude, but I'm going to let you all know, do not look it up. because she was nude in a movie when she was like 60.
I'm looking it up.
What?
Yeah, I'm warning you, Justin. It was like when she was like 60, looking like Roseanne Barr.
Really?
Yep.
Like outside?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Like, do not look that one up.
I just did.
Yes.
Unlike Bud and Kelly, I don't want to know any more about ancient history.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we've got Edna, which is played by Carol Mansell, who also not in a lot of things. She was in a Ted Bundy movie and an Ed Gein movie. No nudity there, though.
Wow, what a connection. Ed Gein and Ted Bundy, Ed O'Neill and Al Bundy.
Yep. Sumo Yohiro was played by Betty Muramoto, and no nudes there either, but she was in a John Carpenter film. She was in she was in Body Bags. She was the librarian in the eye segment in Body Bags.
Nice.
See? You insult Al, you can get into Body Bags.
Exactly. Now, the go-go dancer was Andrea Parker. She is also not nude.
What's her name?
Andrea Parker. She had a pretty big stint in Pretty Little Liars. She's been in other stuff. She was also like a dancer in Earth Girls Are Easy, but just nothing. Now, Silky, played by Barbara Lee Belmont.
Wait, was that the girl in the pink dress?
One of the black chicks. She's been in Married with Children. We've seen her before, but she was heavily in the background. She played Trish on the episode The Great Escape.
Was she one of the cokehead girls?
Yes, she was one of those. She was Trish.
Really?
Yep. We have Patricia Matthews, who is the other black chick in this episode. She played Velior. I don't know how to say her name. But she also had no nudity. No one in this episode, like no one in this episode had nudity. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Until they were 60.
Yeah, she's most popular because of people who are related to her. Her sister was apparently a big 80s singer named Vanity, who was in Playboy, so she was nude. And she also dated Eddie Murphy for a while. She was like, y'all seen Coming to America, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that weird devil worshipping scene with the devil worshipping chick?
Mm-hmm.
That was this chick.
Wow.
Sable in this episode, which is the hot blonde chick in the pink one that was at the geek table, who came over to talk to Al when Al was talking about how he gave up being on the Bears for his wife. That's Peaches. We've seen her from Cups Runneth Over.
Wait, let me think.
She was the Playboy model and first Hooters girl.
Yes, I remember
the first ever Hooters girl?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, we talked about it in Cups Runneth Over.
Was I on that episode?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of the guys, Speedy and Rick and Tim Porter, they really have not been in much of anything. Like Tim Porter was played by Bill Applebaum, who was in Pretty Women and Overboard. A weird connection to me, Bill Bateman played Larry Fleesham, and he was in Cocktail. But crazy enough, he was in the recent 2017 Broadway play of Disney's The Newsies. In high school, when I was in drama, I was also in the play Newsies.
Wow. I played Jack in Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh, I played a cripple boy named Crutchy. But yeah, tons of other people, but none of them have done anything. And most of your other people, they've been in like a lot of TV shows, but it's always like one-time things.
Right.
So there wasn't like, I gotta say, for an episode that has so many guest appearances, this is like a letdown. There was nothing crazy
There's
in
no
here.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah. Like normally we're like, this person was in this, and this. And I'm like, that chick was in Married with Children and a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, she had a horseshoe crab on her head.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're like nothing. I was really let down by this.
Hey, listen, if everybody was a winner, then how would the winners be special, you know?
The guy who plays Eli, Mr. Squiggy, he was on a show that also starred Ted McGinley in later seasons.
Happy Days.
Yeah.
Turn on, tune in, kill Whitey.
It's her mixing up the actual phrase turn on, tune in, and drop out, which was popularized by Timothy Leary a psychologist who advocated the use of LSD during the psychedelic period of the 1960s.
I thought it was turn on, tune in, tune out.
No, turn on, tune in, drop out is the actual phrase.
Oh. I feel like somebody took it and changed it, and I heard tune out as the last
part. They probably did.
Yeah. Remember, like MTV, I think, did something with that.
Now, tell us again about your winning touchdown for the city championship.
Well, I don't know if I can remember that much about it. Let's see. It's November 17th, 4:40 p.m. Wind coming out of the southeast at 12 miles per hour, gusting up to 30.
Al, let's go home.
Hey, home is where the horror is. Now, I'm talking to Hooter.
Vicky.
Vicky here. Now, why don't you go run for something? You know, queen, a man, a bus. With grim determination, I strode out onto the field.
Now, has the four touchdowns has been brought up before this episode, right?
No, I don't think 4 touchdowns have been brought up yet.
Okay, so if this is the first time, this is also the one where we also find out the date that it happened on November 17th.
They didn't say 4 touchdowns. Didn't she just say the touchdown that you won the city championship? I don't think she said 4 touchdowns.
Well, either way, in the trivia, it has it listed as that game took place on November 17th.
I don't remember the 4 touchdowns thing being ever tied to a city championship. I think it was just like in a regular game. Like, nobody has ever combined the two.
Well, we'll have to look it up because maybe this is another case of them adding wrong trivia.
Yeah.
Or adding trivia or combining 2 things that are true to make up one piece of trivia that is not true.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't land on this show by accident. I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, he was born by accident, but...
So, yeah. Eli is from Laverne and Shirley, and now we get to see who he is. Now, how about the scene right away in part 2 here? Al's old buddies from high school, who are so grotesque at this point, you couldn't even tell that they used to be called Speedy, because they're like 80 pounds overweight, bald and coughing just from standing up. They make fun of the nerds like Milton and whoever else.
You want to see something funny? You remember the nerds, Tyrone and Milton, the guy who used to eat his pen? Look at him over there with the other nerds, still sitting together.
You should have done your own homework, guys.
Hey, eat your pen, Milton.
How is the fact that they're with 3 or 4 models completely go by the wayside, and we're going to focus on take the girls in between them out and look who they're sitting next to?
I felt like this joke really, they really dropped the ball on this. While it's kind of funny visual, you're right. It's just kind of like, guys.
Logically retarded, right?
Like the point, because the point is that the nerds and geeks went on to get very well-paying jobs where they have the money now that they are, they can hook up with gold diggers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of the joke. But the way the jocks oh, look, this will be funny. Look at this. Makes no sense. That's not funny.
Yeah, what's funny about that?
Yeah, that this is the one. And you know me. I will allow a lot of stupid for a visual joke. Like I've said it before. If the joke is visually funny enough, I will let you slide. But this one, they dropped the ball with.
Okay, I'm gonna save the day.
Okay.
Here's how this joke could have worked, and I blame Jerry Cohen. I love you, but I'm sorry. You have dropped the ball in Polk High, and now here. Why didn't you have the 3 guys sitting at the table, and then as soon as the guy said that, we see the 3 girls come from the bar with drinks in their hand and sit down in between all of them?
Oh, that would have been great.
Yep. So stupid.
Let's get you a time machine. You can go back and fix a few episodes for us.
Yeah, really? I mean, why didn't they just ask me? I know I was 9, but still. I don't get it. That was a joke that, guys, just here's what you do for all the fans of the show. Just picture it that way. Bud and Kelly are still home, still scrounging for food and all that, and Kelly is cooking something that, in my opinion, just looks delicious. Boot soup.
Yeah, I'm not trying boot soup, but I think since it is Kelly, we should get Alex's sister Jen to do it.
Oh, yeah, Jen should drink it.
Yeah.
Would you eat anything that Kelly serves you? Just drink the broth.
That's so disgusting, dude. We're not doing that.
Can you do that?
No.
Now, Justin, when you ate that toothpaste sandwich, obviously, guys, go to our Patreon. Justin ate a toothpaste sandwich. You had to see the look on his face. He squoze.
Hey! Don't spoil, man. They gotta go there to see this.
I'm trying to tickle her ass with a feather here.
All I'm saying is, when I looked at Justin, I saw his inner Steve shine.
Yeah, just think, you actually did what Steve did rather than Al. Al made the sandwich, but Steve ate it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more Steve-like in that way. But, yeah, he took about, 2 or 3 bites, and oh my God. And you swallowed, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so he ate toothpaste. Now, we didn't actually do any research ahead of time to see if that was safe, but hold on. Justin, can you still see me? Hello? I'm over here.
Oh,
no, here.
I feel like I'm a little vision disoriented, but I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, Jerry, we should have probably looked that up, but that's all right. He can still talk, and that's what we do here, so you can hear me, I guess, right? No? Okay. I guess we should have really looked into this. But he's still on the show, guys. He's a trooper. So, anyway, the look on Marcy's face after Bud says,
Do either of you know anything about ancient history?
Why, yes, we do.
Tell us about the 1960s.
Is she like a genius actress? Does she know exactly what to do in any situation?
Dude, her comedic timing is just on point. Like, her facial expressions just, like, hit it, like, on the split-second spot. It's amazing.
Why, of course we remember the 60s. And oh, what a time it was. Incense and peppermints. Young Republican meetings.
Yeah, we cared about things in those days, kids. I remember protesting the dress code in our school. I still remember the principal's face when we all took the pennies out of our loafers and wore our shirts out of our pants. And if that wasn't enough, one day I even put a little dimple in my tie.
He's a rebel and he'll never ever be any good.
So what Jerry alluded to earlier, when Peg said, I do need the votes, but I don't do that anymore. What do you think Peg used to do in high school? Now, there's a couple options. We don't have to go as far as can be. She might have just showed guys her boobs, made out with them, let them feel her. She might have...
Went into the broom closet with the band. Probably just flashing.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking there at maximum, like...
Maybe get a tweak in there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Something I should have brought up a little bit earlier. The whole relationship between Eli and Peggy. Peggy hates Eli. Eli is super into her. He even says that the only bet he lost was marrying Peggy.
Right.
But do you notice all the things that he bets Al to do could possibly kill Al? So I think that they like Eli is straight up trying to kill Al so that he can get with Peggy.
Yeah, he's like Mo, the bartender, with Marge.
Yeah, like it's super, super weird. And I didn't even notice that during the show until I was reading my notes while we were talking. There's like 2 sentences between Eli lost bet to marry Peg. and $10 to drive a nail through the table with his head.
Al, I give you $20 if you slit your jugular.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Like, what? I mean, I don't get it. What does Eli see in this Bimbo Stein?
Bimbo Stein.
Peg stole, like mother, like daughter. She stole 3 boyfriends and a father and lost votes. Now, here's why I said that something is a little off here with the writing. Peg spends $2,000 calling the entire senior class.
She says she calls every single one where English was the native language.
And yet she has to go to this other table where the 4 girls somehow have not had a conversation with her yet about the vote. They, give the revelation to her that you stole all, 3 of our boyfriends and my father.
And on top of all that, she spends the whole time saying her rival slept with everybody, basically making her rival be out to slut. And it's like, well, Peggy, you've been a hypocrite your whole life, haven't you?
Right. So I don't understand. Our last cliffhanger left us to believe that Peg got everybody, and Connie got just all the foreign exchange students, and she was only off by 1 vote. Like, if she already called everybody in the high school class, in the senior class, then why is she going around looking to sway people to vote for her? Shouldn't they have all been voting for her already?
No, because just because you call somebody doesn't mean that they are voting for you.
Well, she already counted her votes, and the other girl counted hers, and she was only down by, so specifically, 1.
She was up by 3, and then the 4 foreign exchange students came in, and then that became that she was down by 1.
Right. And even, like Jerry said, when they came back from the fight later on, they already, counted those votes in seconds and said, okay, here's the winner. How could you know that so quickly?
To be fair, they never thought that they would have a future award-winning podcast going through the dynamics of how we count votes for prom queens.
Right. Okay, we'll stop, guys. Okay.
It's like how I threw in the future award-winning.
We are going to win awards, for this. This is Pulitzer Prize stuff. Is that a word? Pulitzer Prize?
Yeah, that's for writing books, but yeah, okay.
Well, we're going to get that, too. We're so damn good.
Hey, I'll write a book about my experiences on the Married with Children podcast. You don't think people will be dying to hear it or read it when they could just hear our show and just drive around and listen? Chapter
3. By the 6th episode, I was already tired of Jerry blowing Steve.
They're going to be so used to the podcast, they'll just get the book on tape anyway. They still won't even read it.
You know what's really weird? When you were telling me about toothpaste, I literally had toothpaste in my hand.
Wait, why did you have toothpaste in your hand?
There was just toothpaste laying on the desk, so I was like, okay.
It's haunting you, It's saying, remember me, Justin, how did I taste?
Yeah.
Kelly and Bud decide to waltz on in there. It's a great idea. Just go in and eat. And they do. They pig out. They're dressed like 60s hippies. All they say is groovy. And then, like Jerry said, they say, kill Whitey. All the popular things.
Bud was named Moonbeam, but Kelly was named Peace, but it was Piece, like a piece of ass instead of peace, man.
Hey, sounds good to me.
Hey, bro. Power to the people. Free Huey.
And Dewey and Louie, too.
Kel, sometimes I think I can actually hear your brain come to a halt.
Why did Huey go to jail? Newton himself was arrested the previous year for allegedly killing an Oakland police officer during a traffic stop. He was later convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 2 to 15 years in prison. But a public pressure, Free Huey, became a popular slogan of the day, and it helped Newton's cause.
Wow.
And then Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the grand children of Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. Woohoo! Can you just include the woohoo there?
If I find it.
How much do I have to pay you?
You can find it.
How much do I have to pay you to have that in there. You know what? If you do it, I will take. In my closet, I have my DuckTales comforter from when I was a child, still in a bag, and somehow my grandparents kept it spotless. It looks brand new, even though it was from like 1990.
I wonder if they ever freed Huey.
Well, I guess.
No, we don't have to look it up. No, I want people to, if they see, we educate here, but at the same time, guys, you have to do your part.
Did they free Suey or not? I meant Huey.
Free Suey. Yeah, stop mentioning it. Please, free Suey. Don't bring it up anymore.
Yeah, so Hooter, I meant Vicky is super hot. God, she is so hot. Do you understand? Like, when I was watching the episode, I was like, dude, I can't wait to see her topless.
Oh, yeah. So you looked her up, huh?
Doing research for this podcast to let everyone know who's naked and who's not. I went through that for you, the fans.
Guys, that's why we have the Patreon. It's just to say thanks for these little things.
Thanks for making me look at old lady naked bodies.
It's just not right. I'm going to give you $2 myself. I'm going to give you some of my cut.
Sweet. I get a nickel.
Justin, are you going to give any of your cut or no?
No.
Ah, wow.
Oh, Mr. Bundy, you are so magnificent. Did you really give up a chance to play for the Bears for your wife?
Well, yeah, I figured if I'm going to take a kick to the groin, might as well be for love.
Do you know how much a smile it puts on my face every time Al mentions the Bears? It's just,
Didn't y'all win the other day when y'all were supposed to lose?
Yes, we did. We won the last game of the 2017 season.
Then you fired your coach.
Yep. That's how it works in the NFL.
I went into the break room and I saw that y'all won, and I was like, oh, I bet Alex is happy.
Would you end up 5-11?
Yeah, they're 5-11. It doesn't matter, dude.
You beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I beat your team. Wow.
Which is that the Steelers?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're the number 2 seed. We only have 3 losses, and one of them is to the 5-11 Bears.
Wow. And what's your team again, Jerry? The Ravens or something weird?
Yeah, it's Baltimore Ravens. I have no idea if they won or lost a game at all.
They actually lost their last game, which eliminated them from the playoffs. All they had to do was win to get in.
Yeah, so the hot babe who talks about Al Bundy playing for the... Now, this is the second time a hot blonde talked about Al playing for the Bears, you know. Do you remember the first episode?
No.
The Bald and the Beautiful.
No. So, okay, in this one instance, we have callbacks to 2 different episodes. One being that this chick has already been in an episode, and one that another blonde also brought up the Bears with him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, these are proper callbacks, unlike not last episode, but the episode before that where we complained that it was just cheap writing. These are proper callbacks because you gotta be on the Married with Children podcast level to get these.
Yes. It's a very prestigious position there.
I honestly want to know if any like casual watcher out there who doesn't like run a Married with Children thing, did you even notice that this was the same chick? Like, if you're watching along with us, if you've watched every episode before you watch the podcast, when you watch this episode, did you notice that this was the same blonde chick, Peaches, from Her Cups Runneth Over, or does every blonde chick from the 80s just look like the same coked up blonde chick to you? But, you know, Peggy's a lucky woman.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, can you vote?
No.
Then shut up.
Hey.
You're a very lucky woman.
Are you allowed to vote for Queen?
No?
Then shut up.
That was the second black chick. There were 2 black girls in this episode. The first I'm gonna say the first one was the one that talked to Bud.
I think the one that talked to Bud has to be the black chick who's been in an episode before, Barbara Lee Belmont.
Yeah, because she was hotter than the other one.
Oh, you know what I was going to tell you? So she's actually done a lot of work in Hollywood, but she's actually a stunt actress.
So what she do? Jump out of windows or something?
I don't know, but she was a stunt actress for a bunch of stuff, including a movie that you probably love. It's probably a favorite Christmas movie of yours, Alex, because it has your favorite actor of all time in it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep, Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
Yep, she's a stunt actress in that movie.
Wow. I can see that because they were fighting over that toy a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's me, Tim Potter. You'll remember me as president of the senior class and now of Tim's Mortuary. Anyway, I know you're all anxiously awaiting the vote for Reunion Queen. Well, there's just 20 minutes left for you to get your ballots in the old box here. And for the lucky gal who's elected queen, we'll bury you at half price. Of course, we won't bury you very deep.
Like, and you're stuck in, like, people pay all this money for, like, super nice coffins, and I'm like, no, just bury me in a Kroger bag or something. Who cares?
Well, I told Tiffany to make sure you bury me with a cell phone in case I wake up. I can call you and get me out of here.
Well, see, but here's the thing. You don't even have to, if you get cremated, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, I actually asked, I said to just taxidermy me, and then you could watch TV with me. You could bring me to the...
It is illegal. You are not allowed to taxidermy a person.
Wonder why.
I don't know, but it is 100% illegal.
If it wasn't illegal, do you think that would be something people would do more often?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know, Peg, I'm having the time of my life. See, being married to you, I forgot how great I was. Why, oh, why did I leave high school?
You were 30, Al.
So, apparently Bud is doing so poor with women at this point that he would eat alone at a women's prison. And Al is surrounded by Hooters. So Bud's not taking after his dad just yet.
Yeah.
And what's that smell? Do they let cattle in here?
Okay, hold up. There's another smell joke in this episode, or was it the previous episode? I can't remember. But he goes, Peggy says her rival smells like many men.
Yeah, many men. She still smells like many men.
Hey, Al. I've done a lot of thinking about this rivalry that we have, and I think the whole thing is silly. Truth is, I can't think of a damn thing you can do better than me.
Well, why don't you ask your wife about that, Jack?
But this Jack guy took it, and it's so weird because his wife, she does pretty well against Peggy. She says she could use your red hair for the red carpet except for your roots.
Yeah.
Which is another callback
to Peg saying she has no real hair color. Right.
Yeah, because she still dyes her hair because we learned that from My Mom the Mom. Another call. Who wrote this episode? Because they are good.
A fan of the show, clearly.
Apparently.
Ellen
Isn't it
Fogel? Yeah.
Bravo.
All right, Bundy. Bottom line. You know that fight we were supposed to have after graduation? I'm starting to realize that maybe you didn't hurt yourself jumping over that Mustang. I think you just punked out.
Say goodnight, Jack.
Sit down, Mungo. You promised if I brought you here, no fighting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Peg. I must have got a little carried away. Yeah, see, for a moment there, I thought I was a man.
Kids, get those last votes in. We tally the count and crown the queen in 1 minute.
Hey, Bundy!
Give a lady a seat.
You know, Peg, it's like I told you on our wedding night when you woke me up. You sure know how to ruin a good time.
You know, Al, I'm not going to come out a winner tonight, but at least you can. You want him? Go get him.
Let's rock.
Fight! 20 bucks on Bundy! Good luck, honey! And remember, I'm right behind you! Smash him! Crash him! Beat his face in! But, honey, take your time about it! 'Cause I got a little something to do!
So Eli puts 20 bucks on Bundy, him and Jack going out in the parking lot to fight. Peg encouraged this merely to clear the room out. Peg did not do it so Al could go home a winner. And that's sad. It's kind of depressing because you thought for a second you felt that bond between the two of them where she's like, you know what?
I got a question for you, Alex. Is him saying "let's rock"? Is this what's in the intro?
No, I have a different Let's Rock for that.
Oh, okay. Because I heard that and I was like, is that the same one we use in the intro?
I gotta admit, he didn't deliver it as good. He usually has. This is probably his most imperfect Let's Rock. He was like, "Let's rock," and it wasn't like "Let's rock."
Yeah, like when I heard it, I was like, okay, well, that sounds kind of like the one, but it's
off.
It can't. So, what episode is the one you use it from? Do you know?
It's the one where he fights the security guard in the hallway, far from now.
Oh, okay.
He's about to fight a guy in the hallway who used to play football in his high school. Now he's a security guard at Polk High, and he said, "Let's rock." Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, Peg didn't do it for Al. She could care less about how he feels about himself or anything like that. She just did it for herself, as usual. Selfish Peg Bundy just wanted to clear the room out so she could tamper with the voting box. She discovers that Bud and Kelly are completely passed out, as if they were knocking back like 100 drinks. They passed out, but really it was just from eating a lot.
Food coma.
Yeah, they're in a food coma.
Kelly? Bud?
Wow, the colors.
No, you're just having cherry pie flashbacks. Write it out.
I'm ashamed of you. Sneaking out like that. Is that the way I brought you up? By the way, Bud, honey, can you pick a lock?
Yup.
And a nose.
Okay, good. It's this way. Come with me.
What's Daddy doing?
Oh, playing with his friends. Now, hurry up.
A pathetic little lock, wouldn't you say, Cal?
Yeah, Jacobson 360. Single barrel, 2 tumblers. Why'd they just lock it with a piece of gum?
Tweezers?
Tweezers?
Have you guys done this before?
No.
Graphite?
Jack walks in like he won the fight. And the audience doesn't, you don't hear nobody going, "Oh," or nothing. They have no reaction. It's almost like they're waiting for the joke, unfortunately.
Al, I just knew you could do it. Are you okay, honey?
Well, actually, Peg...
Shh. They're going to announce the queen.
All right, that was some fight, huh? And speaking of fights, it's time to pick a queen.
You know, Peg, I really think I need a doctor.
Shh. God, it's always you. Why didn't I leave you at home?
Let's have our 4 queen finalists up here, please.
Oh, I'm so happy to be nominated. Thank you. Gee, I wonder who it'll be. Good luck, Peggy.
Good luck, Connie.
And our Polk High Reunion queen is Larry Fleischman. Throw out an anchor, Fleischman. I'm just kidding.
I got a question for y'all. When they pull up the 4 finalists, Did y'all notice the guy on the stage before they pointed it out or not?
No. When he said a guy's name, I wondered why, and then they panned over to him.
Because I actually did notice, and when they called his name, I was like, that would have been hilarious if, like, Peggy lost also, because instead of, like, fixing it by...
Just getting rid of the one girl, she forgot to get rid of his votes, right?
Yeah, like, she took out too many votes, and now he won on accident because she, you know, messed up.
I just knew that didn't happen, though. I just recalled, obviously, issue 1, but yeah, that would have been weird. A weird ending.
Okay, really. The winner is, and by a landslide, every boy's fantasy, every mother's nightmare, Peggy Wanker Bundy!
I just don't know what to say. Out of my way, she-dog.
And now the queen will dance the spotlight dance with her king.
Oh, Al, this is the best night of my life.
That's great, Peg. You know, I really think I'm hurt bad.
Oh, honey, this is such a beautiful moment. Don't spoil it with your whining. You know, I really am lucky. Out of all the guys here, you're the best one. Aren't you gonna say the same to me?
Was the go-go dancer in our class, Peg?
No, Al.
Then I married the prettiest girl in school.
Oh, Al. Honey, you know what would top this night off just perfectly?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. You can't tell me you don't want to. What's that in your pocket?
My rib.
Now, does Al get a sex point?
No, my ruling on this is, since there is no actual clear indication of if they would have actually had sex or not, there's no way we can give a point. There's no way to call that.
Now, Justin, what do you think? Because she felt that he was aroused by what she felt in his pants, and it turns out, no, he's not. It was a rib, one of his ribs.
Well, yeah. That's not even possible, for one. So I just don't feel like there's a clear enough yes or no here.
I agree with Jerry. I don't think that there's a definitive ending to it if they did or didn't.
Well, I would like to exercise whatever power I have on the show and say I would like you to mark it as a point for Al with an asterisk. And then we will discuss it if it's a tiebreaker.
All right, let me type it in.
Now, can a rib, if you knock a guy's rib hard enough, can it roll down his skin near his thigh or no?
No, there's organs there.
Okay, I'm just asking. Hey, listen. People are paying us to do this show now. I have to do all I can. All right, guys, we'll be right back with the ratings for this gigantic two-parter, Married with Queen. We'll be right back.
No Ma'am will be right back to wrap up this week's review. Be sure to join their Facebook group page for all the podcast news and updates. Just type in www.facebook.com/groups/marriedwithchildrenpodcast. Be sure to subscribe to them on iTunes and please leave a review telling them what you think of the show. To subscribe to their YouTube channel, just go to channels and search up Married with Children Podcast. You can email them at marriedwchildrenpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for checking out this review. Now the guys are going to give their final thoughts and ratings of this week's episode.
All right, guys, how many perfectly seasoned bud chops are we eating for this episode? Both episodes, so we have to treat this as one gigantic story arc.
Okay. I was kind of struggling with this one, honestly, because I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I like the stuff with the kids when they're, I actually kind of like the goldfish bit, honestly. I do prefer when they keep it in reality, but I didn't think that was as far from reality as finding like a crusty ass toenail under the fridge and eating it. You know what I mean? Because technically you can eat a goldfish. It's not that out of the realm of possibility. But there was some stuff with the rival girl and the votes and stuff that we discussed. I don't know, man. I always expect the two-parters to be like much more heavy. Yeah, like heavy, like have more of a heavy tone and meaning thing. I still think it was pretty good, but I'm not like super sold on it. I do like that we find out a little bit of backstory. Like we now know that Peg and Al did go to the same high school, and we know that her last, I guess we get reconfirmation of her last name, or at least it's kind of debatable if it's been told before. But I'm just going to come in at 3.5 perfectly seasoned bud chops out of 5.
That's a good rating, though. I would expect a higher rating for a two-parter, because you would imagine that there's so much. They have so many great ideas, they couldn't get it done in one episode, so they had to make 2. So you would expect, like you said, it to be a more grand thing. I see what you mean. So 3.5 is a solid as anything rating, but yes, obviously in a two-parter we would expect a 4 or higher. So that's unfortunate that you didn't feel that way. So let's see, Jerry, how many perfectly seasoned bud chops are you going to eat?
I actually do feel like this was kind of an epic story. I feel like it was big enough to be on the same par as the two previous two. The only problem with this episode, why I think Justin doesn't feel it's epic, is because it's all revolving. The problem isn't heavy because it's all revolving around how selfish Peggy is. So we don't care as much about the problem. But when you see that, then you can go, okay, it is epic. It's just it's not as heavy because we don't care about Peggy as much. We don't what's the word I'm looking for here? We don't empathize. We don't empathize with Peggy because we're just like, you're wrong. Everything you do is wrong. And that's one of the things I don't like about the show.
Well, I think it's sympathize. I think empathy is
empathy is being able to feel what they feel. Sympathy is is feeling bad for them.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them, and I can't feel for Peggy at all because she's so horrible in this. And that's my actual only negative in here is how horrible Peggy is shown. It bothers me.
But even that though, Jerry, like the story itself is kind of stupid.
It is, but it's Married with Children stupid. It's not like, I don't think that this is that much stupider than a lot of the other story arcs they've gone through. I don't feel like this is that much stupider than sleeping at the shoe store or going to a meeting of bald people when you're barely bald. This is to me an acceptable amount of stupid for Married with Children.
I guess stupid is not the right word because I do agree that it isn't out of the realm of the stuff we like. I feel like it's a weak story in terms of the not the reunion, but just the voting and the prom, it's not even prom, damn it. It's like the reunion queen. It's just,
which we don't even know if is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, it's not a real thing.
I wouldn't know, but I'm like Justin. I had a really hard time scoring this episode because there are a lot of things that what I like in this episode greatly outweigh what I don't like, and there's enough of me that for this episode that I can completely push to the side. But I will say this is an episode I can put those issues aside and roll with it, especially part 2. I enjoy part 2 way more than I enjoyed part 1. So I am coming out of 4 out of 5 for this episode, just on the part that for once I was able to push everything, all the nitpicking, all the stuff I didn't like. I was able to push it aside and laugh at the jokes and roll with it because you know what, Peg? You might not do it anymore, but for once I'm okay with it.
I have always been fond of this. To me, it's a great story arc. I see what you mean, and I think this may be a nostalgia thing lost in translation, but Jerry doesn't have any, and he seems to still appeal to it.
I think Jerry is kind of right in saying that usually the episodes where, like, the other characters take a backseat to Peg and her arcs, I usually kind of
usually don't like.
I just don't really roll with it too well.
You never do, but guess what? Some episode this season, and I wanted to bring it up to you in the season 3 wrap-up show, but now I almost forgot what it was, but you were really big on a Peg-centric episode. Maybe I'll just skip to all the ratings at the end to find out what that was, but there was a Peg episode that you really liked, and I found it shocking that you gave it such a high rating because I thought you were going to be like not on board because it was about her, and you historically never like her episode. So that might be what this is. You might be just reverting back to what you sort of felt when you first started watching this. So I see what you mean, and she's not really winning guys over exactly in the last few shows, like we said, and she certainly didn't win any over